Good afternoon, racing fans. Welcome in for our fourth Grand Circuit program, the 2018 Grand Circuit meet at the historic Red Mile. First afternoon program. Live racing comes up at the top of the hour at 1 p.m. Picture perfect weather conditions here in Central Kentucky for live racing action today. We are in the mid-70s, headed up to 80 degrees for this afternoon's 12-race card. At this time, there are no changes on your program. Once again, the 12-race card clear of any changes at this point. We do want to remind you in this afternoon's second race, we have a carryover, the 50-cent pick five of $3,239. And this afternoon's pick five will feature a $15,000 guaranteed pool. Again, note the pick five carryover and the guaranteed pool in this afternoon's second race. Once again, good afternoon. Welcome aboard, and we are happy to have you with us for our first afternoon program of Grand Circuit action. I'm Gabe Prewitt, and I am pleased to be joined by my good friend Chuck Grubbs, who's in the building today to help us out with some handicapping. And Chuck, the weather could not be better here this afternoon.
Yeah, 75 degrees, sunny, hardly any wind, beautiful day.
And this is what we dream of when we think of Grand Circuit racing at the Red Mile. And Chuck, we've had a nice few nights to get underway. A quick look at the driver standings. Dave Miller leads that currently. He's got 6 wins. After a big night last night, Tim Tetrick had 4 wins. He hit the board in 8 of 10 races. He's sitting there second with 5, and Yannick Gingras with 4. And then trainer Brian Brown had a big night last night. He had 3 wins. He's our current leading trainer with 4 wins. Jeff Gillis doubled up with a couple of stakes wins. The money's really been spread out, it seems, here the first few nights.
Yeah, well balanced, very good trainers, and the best drivers in the world.
And great betting action, I know we like as well. Talk to us about that pick 4 last night. That was our biggest pick 4 pool so far at the Grand Circuit meet. It was over $16,500, so we appreciate all the support in that. And quite a payout given the odds that came in there.
Yeah, there was bookend favorites, 1-2 and 1-9, and 2-7 to 2 shots when the parlay price was around $80 and the $2 price paid $300, nearly $300.
Yeah, that was a nice payout for sure. I think I had those bookend horses, by the way, 1-2 and 1-9. So
me too.
Maybe I was halfway there, the pick 4 last night. No, the good news, at least for those of us that are back today, no one had the pick 5 last night. So that's a very nice carryover. And Chuck, as you well know, just a 15% takeout in that 50-cent pick 5 here at the Red Mile. So that really makes it an intriguing wager. Again, over $3,200. If you're out there on the World Wide Web watching us today, it does offer that $15,000 guarantee. So you get free program pages at ustrotting.com/handicapping. So you can check that out. Really a sequence today that it looks like we could have some favorites in it. Maybe you have to press a couple of combinations, I would assume, in this scenario.
Yeah, I thought it was normal card, few chalks, and then there's a few wide open races.
Okay, so we're looking forward to getting all of your insights with that. So without further ado, since we do have 12 today, we're going to dive right into the action here. And we should kick things off the late closing event. It is the Racing Hill. And I know we are on board here with the newcomer, at least stateside. It's the 5 Statement Made, Chuck. And what about the breeding here? He's a son of Bettor's Delight out of a Christian colored mare he ships in from down under. If that sounds familiar, it should, because it's the exact same cross as Lazarus, who we hope to see here on closing day next Sunday. Of course, Lazarus is a son of Bettor's Delight from a Christian colored mare as well. Statement Made. There's no better place to make a statement than Grand Circuit racing here at the Red Mile.
Yeah, very impressive qualifier, nice sized horse, kicked home really good. I think he'll handle these.
And it's no easy assignment. I agree. I think he'll get the job done, too. I was just so impressed with that qualifier. But the one Lion Snyder, he's been a handy open-type horse in the Midwest, back on the East Coast as well. He's already made over $64,000 this season. He comes off a beaten effort there at Dayton, but really not all that bad of an effort. When you take a look at the fractions, Chuck, he was really sizzled there early, 26 and 153 and change. Still stayed on there to be close second.
Yeah, and he gets definite post relief. This horse has drew the 6-holer out 9 starts in a row. So I look for David to send him off the rail, and they'll have to catch him.
All right, and David Miller, again, our leading driver at this point through 3 nights of action. He's got 6 wins so far on the Grand Circuit meet. So Chuck and I ice cold together, so we are trying to get that ice cold exact home to build our pick 5 bankroll here this afternoon. That's the big news. Again, race 2, $3,200 and change in the pick 5 carryover, $15,000 guaranteed pool. And how'd you see the second race, Chuck, and how many deep do we need to go here to start this pick 5?
Well, I'm probably just going to go 1 deep because this horse, the veteran, the 2, he's been bottled up with terrible posts at Yonkers. Won an unbelievable mile last week in the final. I look for him to be the horse to beat and be very short priced.
Yeah, I agree. And in fact, both of those muscle mass colts have been very good. I think the veteran, as you said, he's taken a lot the worst of it of late with those tough posts. He raced extremely well that New York Sire Stakes final. We did see Renee Allard and Simon Allard team up for a win here on opening night of the Grand Circuit meet, and they bring in a nice colt here as well. And I'm the Muscle. He's won 8 of 11, nearly $100,000 this season. He actually got the best of the veteran on September 11th at Yonkers, outclosed him a bit there. You know, he hasn't proven maybe he's the exact same type of class, at least at this point, but I assume if you do have to try and beat that favorite, obviously I'm the Muscle may be a logical second choice.
Oh, yeah. It looks like the 2 and 4, maybe the 6, but the 2 and 4 look to be the fastest in the class of the race.
And the 6 was a colt I wanted to ask you about because this is really an unknown. You know, he's lightly raced, so obviously there have been some issues there, but he comes off that career best performance, 154-1. He got razor sharp here last season, as we know, Chuck, as a 2-year-old at the Red Mile. He took a big win in 155. Seems to be really a horse for the course. He's been beating up on Overnight Company. Do you think he can step up here and hang with this type of group?
Well, I look for this race to go around 52 and a piece, and he's trotted in 54. He gets David Miller first time, which won't hurt. I put him in for third just because I thought the others were a little more seasoned than he was.
Okay, and I'm in agreement there. We're ice cold together in race 2, 2, 4, 6, and for Chuck and I, as we look to get that pick 5 started off on the right note. Third race this afternoon, and how about this 3-year-old? I know you follow the Indiana circuit very closely, Chuck. He's a son of all. He's a virgin. He's won 15 of 18, 274,000, and he's in a late closing event here. I'm really anxious to see this guy. He just unleashed a nice 48 and 4 mile the last time we saw him there in a Grand Circuit stake at Hoosier Park.
Yeah, that was very impressive. He beat a couple nice horses. He's in a little softer today, so he should be able to handle these quite easily.
And this is the type of horse that we just love to see over the red clay on a day like this. I mean, you really have to think this guy could put up some big fractions here, potentially a big mile in store.
Oh, yeah.
And the underneath, I know we're both on the veteran Lawrencetown Beach. Been racing in some of those upper-level conditions on the East Coast, and really, with the exception of the 4 Always a Prince, seems to maybe have the class edge over most of these others.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're in agreement there as well. I think we do start to zig and zag a bit as we go deeper into the card here this afternoon. Fourth race, I wanted to get your opinion on this race, Chuck, because the 9 Escape to the Beach. When I initially looked at the race, I said, you know what, this may be a type of horse we could beat. He's winless in his career. He's been a beaten favorite the last couple of starts. He's got the outside post this afternoon, so you've got a lot of knocks there maybe. But when I kept going over the field, I just could not find anyone to beat him. And I think it's a much softer spot here for him for trainer Tony Abania. He's already got a couple of Grand Circuit wins here on the meet. So Escape to the Beach, I think he leaves the gate here, and I think he's the one to beat.
I agree with 100% what you said. I'd look to try to beat the horse. I wasn't really that impressed with his start at the Meadows 2 back. He's 0 for 7, but when you look at the competition, he's just raced against way better horses. It's hard to go against him, but I think you need to spread out in this leg. This could come just about anybody.
Yeah, well, there are some other logical contenders, I guess, underneath. I know the 7 odds on Columbus. Third start with Lasix here this afternoon. I know you like to find Mountain High, who really raced extremely well 2 starts back at a winning effort. Maybe not quite as good last time on that kindergarten at Tioga, but he's obviously shown glimpses of ability as well.
Yeah, it was just pretty much to me after the 9. I was just trying to find anybody with a little bit of price because, like I said, I think this race could be fairly wide open.
And one thing about it, the 9 happens to get roughed up or, you know, is not on top of his game. It does seem to be completely wide open. If you can get past the 9, that could be a potential upset leg there in that pick 5 to spice up your payout. We've got 3 divisions of the Can-Tam Hall this afternoon for 3-year-old trotting fillies. The first of 3 in the 5th race, $69,000 on the line here, and we're both going to try and knock off Live, Laugh, Love with the 2 Supergirl Riley.
Yeah, we both fell on this one, and I think the reason we both fell on this one is Live, Laugh, Love got the best trip in the final, the Kentucky Sire Stakes, and was a little bit disappointing. I expect her to bounce back with a better effort, but I went with the 2. She was very impressive the last time she raced here.
She's just won handily her last couple of starts. She's beginning to be the queen of the consolations, of course, winning the Kentucky Sire Stakes consolation. In fact, 3 starts back, she needed to be first or second here, Chuck, to make that $250,000 final. Well, she was third, so she had to go into the consolation. That was to the detriment of a couple of those other fillies in the consolation, of course, as she just crushed. Then she went to Batavia on an off track and got the job done there as well. I think she's got plenty of talent. She's got the post edge over some of her main rivals in this spot tonight. You said it, Live, Laugh, Love. Maybe just a touch disappointing for as good as we've come to expect from that filly, but she did fire back with a better effort in that Kentucky Sire Stakes final. She was a little bit dull here 2 starts back, so I think this is a filly that obviously merits a lot of attention in the 5th race as well. Looks like maybe those two at least for the top spot from here. 6th race going to close out the pick 5 sequence. What do we do here? International money, tons of class edge. He's finally landed in a very comfortable spot. He had a big 51 and change win here last year during the Grand Circuit action. Do you tee him up here as a single to close it out?
Well, he's 0 for 12 this year, but he's been racing against way better. I stuck with him because of the class relief and the fact that last year he won in 51 and 4 here. But I was wanting to pick against him, but I just couldn't find anybody.
Yeah, I agree with that entirely. I think he's just, it really makes no difference how he's raced here this afternoon. As long as he gets away from the gate smoothly and he can come from off the pace or go to the top, I think International Money just a complete standout, maybe a slam dunk single there in this afternoon's 6th race. 7th race, it's the first of 2 for the Explosive Matter. 3-year-old Golden Gelding Trotters with $121,000. Metz Hall here going to be a big favorite, Chuck. He was a Hamiltonian runner-up. He's been right at the top of the class with some of the top 3 or 4 colts all summer long. He's made it for $637,000. But all that said, short price looming. If he could beat him here to kick off this pick 4, he'd be off to a nice start.
He's definitely the horse to beat. He shows up every start. He's right there. 1, 2, 3, 7 or 8 starts in a row. I jumped on the 6 simply because the last 2 races that I watched really impressed me. He's going to Yannick Gingrich for the first time. The only time the horse has ever lost in his life is when he broke. So this track and this driver change, I'm going to take a shot beating the 7 with the 6.
It's hard to fault him. There's no question about that. He's just been razor sharp of late. He comes into this afternoon 4 consecutive victories. Obviously, it's a test for class, but we've seen horses like this in the past, Chuck, that maybe got off to a bit of a late start for whatever reason, or their 2- or 3-year-old season, and they really seem to accelerate late in the year, and this track certainly does him a lot of favors as well.
And I'm sure Jimmy wouldn't put him in this spot if he didn't think he would excel.
And I agree with that. And another Tactor trainee there that's going to be interesting is the one Jimmy's in the bike on. By the way, happy birthday to Jimmy Tactor. As always, I'm a day late and $1 short, but yesterday was his birthday. So we do want to pass along happy birthday wishes to Jimmy Tactor. He's in the bike on You Know You Do, and he's gone a bit off course here, Chuck. Late in the summer, I think this guy at one time was on the Hamiltonian trail, but things just had not gone his way of late. He ended up making a break there in his Hambo elimination. He made a break last time out in the Canadian Trotting Classic. Post 9 today, we know he's got talent. What do you think from him? Maybe a conservative steer coming off that break?
I'm not sure it'll be conservative. I think he'll try to put him into play. I just didn't know with Yannick either choosing off or Jimmy saying, let me drive him to see if I can figure out why he's breaking. I just went with the other one because Yannick was driving.
Okay, 8th race here this afternoon. We've got the 2nd division of the Cantab All for the 3-year-old trotting fillies, and I'm going to try it and fly under the radar with an upsetter here this afternoon, Chuck. The 7 SMS Princess, Okas Fonstedt, has a lot of success here, it seems, each and every fall. I know he does a lot of equipment-type changes, shoeing changes, so sometimes we see horses from his barn really step up. This is a 3-year-old trotting filly, SMS Princess, who added Lasix just over a month back. 2 starts back, I was very impressed. She crushed the 2 Hey Blondie. It was a very nice trotting filly at her own right there at Pocono Downs, so I thought just maybe if she takes to this red clay, she would have a puncher's chance to pull off a big upset here for us in the pick 4. I know you like a filly that raced extremely well in the Kentucky Sire Stakes final last time in Pat Matters.
Yeah, I had trouble with this race. I thought there were 6 horses that could win this race. I didn't use your 7, but I had him left in as well as the 8, who was a winner at Delaware if he didn't break. I landed on the 3 simply because she trots home so well, and if you look at the race, it looks like there's plenty of speed on the outside. I thought the 6, 7, and 8 could all leave. I looked for Matt to have a patient steer and come with cover and kick home and win.
She's a filly that's really taken off for Trader Paul Kelly since arriving in Lexington. We also want to give a shout out, Chuck, to the 6 Nixie Volo, the Kentucky Sire Stakes champ. She came up with the mile of her life here in that final parked out. And by the way, her co-owner, Eddie Gran. He's the offensive coordinator for the undefeated University of Kentucky Wildcats. So if you see Eddie out here this afternoon, tell him congratulations and well done, right? Cats are 5-0.
Yes, 5-0, and the Buckeyes are 5-0.
The Buckeyes got there. They survived last night. I thought you may throw that in there, Otis, but good game from both last night. Ninth race as we move on forward. Second division of the explosive matter here. Tactical Landing. He's been an odds-on favorite. Chucky has not been above 3-5 at his last 3 starts. No, he's lost 2 of those. I know you're going to take a shot and beat him here again this afternoon.
Yeah, the problem I have with Tactical Landing is early in the race. He's kind of got to let him get settled before he can move him, and it gets him in the first over spot, which is not the greatest spot to be on here on the mile track. I had trouble with this race. I had 2, 3, 5, 8. I went with the 8 strictly for value and the fact that Yannick's getting back on the horse. But I see 5 or 6 horses that could win this race.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there, especially like you said, if you think Tactical Landing's hand may be forced first up again, that type of trip got him beat last time. The 5 Eurobond added Lasix last time and came up with a giant effort there in the Kentucky Sire Stakes final.
He's raced good every start down here. He's a nice horse if he doesn't break.
Okay, 10th race tonight. Going to close out the pick 4. It looks like a jump ball here, Chuck, between the 2 Tony Alanya trainees. A heavyweight battle amongst stablemates. Stay hungry in American history.
Yeah, wide open, these two. These are 2 phenomenal 3-year-olds. I give the slight edge to the 3 simply because he's catching fresh Lasix, and he's been unbelievable without it. So if it helps any at all, I mean, I think he'll be tough to beat.
Yeah, that is a very good note there. American history adding Lasix for the first time, and that's after riding a 3-race win streak. I know you watch a lot of replays yet back, Chuck. The 4 Grand Teton was routing it very nicely. The Kentucky Sire Stakes final got a bit rough gated down the lane. What do you make of that?
Well, they were pacing fast, and I just think he's a step below the 2 and 3, but he's a very nice horse.
Yeah, there's certainly no shame in being a step below those 2, yeah. And I would agree, but there I did slot him in behind. Looks like the Alanya trainees, of course, the 2 to get past. Yeah, this afternoon's 10th race. 11th race, we've got the final division of the Can-Tab off of the 3-year-old trotting fillies. One of the races I'm looking forward to most this afternoon, Chuck, because the 2 Phaetoses has been razor sharp of late. How about the traffic trouble that she had to overcome last time there at Woodbine, but when she shook loose, she just accelerated by. A nice pair, by the way, Manchego and Atlanta.
That's the race I was looking most to all year, waiting for those 3 fillies to get in together, and it didn't leave us. It left me wanting more. Yeah, he tried to shoot the inside, got cut off, stopped her, made a right-hand turn halfway through the stretch, and she flew home. What a super filly, and I look forward to next week. Hopefully she'll get a match with these other 2 fillies.
I was just getting ready to say you don't have to wait all that much longer, we hope, because we hope Phaetosive, Atlanta, and Manchego, who are all in town, by the way, and on the grounds, we hope to see them hook up here 1 week from today in that Kentucky filly futurity. But at this point, I think we're in agreement. Chuck, Phaetosive looks to just get a nice tightener under her belt. Should be able to easily overpower this group of fillies. She dodges her main couple of rivals.
Yeah, he's raced her from behind all year. I expect him to do the same thing, and she'll kick home strong.
Okay, 12th race is the Super High 5 on this afternoon's card. Again, featured on the finale of each and every program. And we're both inside here to the pair of Hayden Hanover, Think Big, Dream Big. They seem to be maybe the 2 most talented colts, and they get the post edge here this afternoon.
Yeah, they're the 2 most talented, and they have the post edge. They've both been a little camera shy. You know, a lot of runner-up place finishes. I think they're the 2 to beat. I went with the 2 second-time Lasix. He raced good last week. American history is just really sharp right now and beating.
I agree. And one thing I did want to point out, we heard Chris Ryder being interviewed by Nick Salvey the other night in the winner's circle here. He really seemed to be very confident in the 8 I'm a Big Deal. We both chose him for 3rd here. He comes off back-to-back overnight wins over off tracks here at Philly. But he really seemed to have a lot of confidence, I guess is the best way to put it in this colt, and seemed to like his chances here coming to the Red Mile.
I used him 3rd. He's a speed horse. That worries me a little bit. I tend to favor horses that can be versatile. He's one way. If he gets a clear, easy lead in soft fractions, he could win, but I don't see him getting soft fractions in with these horses.
Especially with a big field there in the finale here this afternoon. So it's a perfect day at the Red Mile. We are approaching 80 degrees for the opener. Horses will be on the track shortly. As always, we wish you the best of luck with your selections here this afternoon.